Hi guys, and welcome back to The Divine Witch. I am your host Debbie, and today's video is going to be about tips for the new witch. Now, it's not only tips for myself, it's tips from others as well. There was quite a few groups that I had posted the question, if you were to talk to a new witch, what would be something that you would like to tell them? This way, I not only get my personal opinions, but I get others as well to help our new witches out there. So, the first thing, and one of the things that I seen across all groups, was research, reading, studying. Now, for those of us who remember the days when we first became our little witchy selves, we were really excited, gung-ho, want to do our first spell. Wait, okay? I get it. I understand the excitement. It's so new. It's fresh. You know, it's like when you're a kid and you're watching movies with magic and you're like, it's real, it's possible. Now, I'm not saying that it's like movie magic because obviously it is not, but it gives you the same euphoric, giddy feeling. And here's why you should research or study before you start doing any practices. Now, it's not because of the tools or learning the moon signs or learning the color associations. Most of the reason why people tell you this is because when you're doing a circle or you're doing a ritual within your circle, you are going to be calling on not only sometimes elements, you're going to be calling on the four corners, you're going to be calling on your god or goddess that you are choosing for this certain, sorry, I'm working with my cameraman here, and you're going to be choosing certain things, and you're going to want to know how to actually work within the spirit realm to our realm. Because once you start getting into this and you start casting your circle and you're right before your ritual, there is a veil, a doorway, whatever you would like to refer to it as. And that's between you and the spiritual realm or the realm of the gods, so to speak. So you want to have protection not only for yourself. You want to make sure that when you're in your circle that you're protected. You want to make sure that you close it right. And most people are very gung-ho. I've seen some horror stories. I've experienced myself. I'm trying not to laugh because my camera guy's looking at me like I'm going to choke you because I'm moving his arms. So, back to the subject at hand. So, you'll notice like a lot of people will be saying study, 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 study. For the reason being, here's what can go wrong. So, let's say if you don't close a circle. If you're doing it in your home, then you can invite things into your home that you do not want. You can attach things to yourself that you do not want. And you're going to start feeling very heavy, like you're being weighed down. So this is a lot of reason why you'll hear people say, study. Now, the second thing that I've seen through all the groups, and my personal opinion, and trust me, it sucks sometimes, especially if you're empath, is go with your gut. That's with people, that's with jobs, that's with everything. And you're going to find out the more you go along, the reasons why. If you get the gut feeling like something's not right, or you feel like maybe there's something around you, or you feel like maybe somebody else has put something on you, you're going to feel that first in your gut. It's that gut feeling something's not right. It's almost like when you're starting to get sick and you're like, no, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, but you know it's going to happen. But you're trying to set that intent that it's not going to happen, or it's not there, it's not happening, when in reality it actually is. So this is why you're going to hear the gut feeling. This goes hand in hand with finding your path, finding a group, or maybe meeting a coven, or, you know, if you are looking for a mentor, you're going to feel either a really happy, at peace moment, or you're going to have that fear feeling come over you. You're going to have that gut wrenching. Your stomach's going to feel like it's in knots, and you're just overall not going to feel that great. So that's why you always want to follow that gut instinct and feeling. Another great comment that I seen while I was doing my little research out in the groups was, when you first start, you're going to read a lot of books. Sorry. My camera guy just keeps on wanting to put his thumb and finger everywhere. And we're having trouble working with each other. But it's alright. We're doing good. Anyway, like I was saying, another thing people will tell you, and myself from experience as well as others, so when you first start to get into the craft or to the arts, as some may like to call it, you're going to notice a lot of books are going to tell you, you got to have this special tool to do this, and you got to have this, and you got to have a huge cauldron, and you got to be all in a ceremonial robe, and this is how you got to do it, and blah, 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 blah. Right? Not always the case. Now, if that's how you want to do it, that's fine. No one's saying that you can't. Because this is a religion, or depending on what path you choose, it's very open. Free to interpretation to oneself. So, for the new beginner witch, here's a few things that I would suggest for you. Candles, it's a must. Sage. Candles, because a lot of magic workings deals with candles, because of the fire aspect is one of the elements, which is another thing someone had brought up, working with elements. We'll get into that later. But saging, for this reason, it helps cleanse your space. It also helps with cleansing yourself or your other tools that you are working with. And you'll notice that this gets brought up. It's either called cleansing, smudging, saging, whatever you want to call it. These are at least two of the main tools that you are going to need and use. Now, that's up for interpretation once again. Some believe that within the power of the mind and that energy itself manifests things into being. So, let's say you cast a circle, you're sitting there, you're meditating, however you want to do it, and you're envisioning what outcome you want, what you wish to happen. You're using your energy, your life force to actually push that out there into the world. So that's just one of the few ways. But when you're new, you don't have to go out and spend thousands and thousands of dollars to do this. Most of this stuff you can find at local stores or a farmer's market or even your local Dollar Tree. Trust me, we are crafty. And we like a budget. So, I got a few other ones here as well. And I'm going to go scrolling through my phone because I can't obviously remember everything. One size fits all. So this is the basis of saying, just because it works for somebody else doesn't mean that it's going to work for you. So, let's say if you have a few friends, they have different paths. And they have different gods or goddesses, or they work with a certain spirit that works well with them. Just because it works with me or it works with them doesn't mean it's necessarily going to work with you. So don't feel discouraged if you don't have the same calling as they did. We're all different, but it doesn't mean that we can't still be friends. It just means that our practices are a little bit different. Let's see. Don't burn down your house. Perfect witchy tip. Perfect tip in reality with anybody dealing with candles, or if you're burning something in your cauldron, and let's say, for instance, there may be a fan, and then the next thing you know, poof, there goes the drapes. Please be careful and witch responsibly. Also, as I'm scrolling. Also, this was such a great thing. So if you're new and you're looking for different groups and different covens and out there, this was the greatest comment that I've seen, because a lot of people have what I like to call witchy guilt. That is when you feel bad because you're not celebrating all the holidays, where you feel bad that you haven't spell casted in a while, or that you didn't get to go to that big thing that everyone else went to, and then you feel all sad and depressed and feel like you just don't get it because there was jokes made and now you don't understand why. Look, life in general happens. It's with anything that we do. We are people. We have moments of sadness. We have moments where things happen. Either we get in the hospital, or maybe we had to work over at work, or just maybe we just didn't feel like it. Or, of course, when you're new, you're going to forget a lot of the holidays. There is quite a bit of holidays and a lot of confusion, and you're just starting out. So don't feel like you have to rush through it. Things come with time, and there's always going to be another group meetup. There's always going to be another ritual. Trust me. Take your time, deep breath, move on. All right, now let's go through our list again. Research was a great key. That was one I've seen mostly through the groups. Hopefully you guys are having a great day. I know mine has been pretty interesting. All right. Elements. I did say I was going to get to this. Elements. So the elements are air, fire, water, earth, and then some consider metals, or some will consider spirit. It just depends on the belief that you believe. But overall, elements are mostly things like the fire, the air, the water, the earth. Okay. So, each element has what they call elementals. These are kind of like a little subgroup of little magical beings that will be present during rituals. That's why sometimes, like, you'll see you need water and you need the element of fire, or you need the element of earth and the element of air, and ways to represent it, such as maybe soil, or a bowl of water, or incense for air, or for fire, you know, you can have like a little baby fire, or if you're outside, have a fire pit, or a candle, another representation of fire. So you'll see this a lot. I do recommend looking into it because it will help you in your practices to understand the elements, how to call them forth, how to use them in your magical practices. It is something that is useful down the road, and it is a little bit easier to start out with it than later on in life. So, great witchy tip. Also, being embarrassed. This is was a comment, and I just kind of boiled it down. But when you go out to events, you're going to notice a lot of people will be very enthusiastic, very straightforward, very sporadic. You're going to see that there's going to be a lot of energy going around, so people get really, really giddy. One of the things that you'll also notice at gatherings is there will either be drum circles, dance circles. Don't feel embarrassed. I know it's hard, especially if you have anxiety really bad in big groups or even small groups. But when it comes to things like that, no one's looking at you like, ha, look at the way they dance. Ah, record it, Jerry. You know, no one's doing that. So you're in a perfect good environment, or at least you should be. And if you're not, then you're going to get that intuition and you're going to move on. Another thing is, you're going to feel at times like what you're doing makes no sense at all. Everybody has this feeling at least once. And I can't tell you just to get over it, because honestly, we all have that internal struggle. But I will suggest this. Don't do something when you're not in the right mindset. For this reason, let's say you want to do a love spell, but you're thinking about work, or you're thinking about house payments and stuff like that. Your full attention and intent is not there in that moment. So my advice to you is, if you don't feel like you're mentally ready to take on that task, or maybe you're just so tired and drained from the day, do it another day. There's always another day. Don't feel like you're pressured. No one is setting a time limit on your magic or how you do it. It is all up to you. So, now as far as my personal advice, I do agree you should study. And I do agree that you don't have to have every magical tool that there is out there. Now, if I was going to suggest any kind of books to help you, go ahead, look back. We got some great books that I've done some reviews on. I will be doing some reviews on for the new witch, different ones that I feel would have a spectrum that would help you out in the beginning, because let's be honest, a lot of us, when we started, we were solitary or we didn't have that mentor. And for us, our mentors were the books we read from other fellow witches who went out there and decided to be like, hey, guess what? You're not alone. This is what you can do. So with that being said, I hope that you have a fun journey in this new path you have chosen. And always remember that no matter what, don't ever let somebody path shame you. Just because it's not their path doesn't mean it's not yours. Bye, guys.